Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Board Game Heaven Talks Accessories. And in this episode, I'm going to take a look at a wooden box insert by Tower Rex for the game Mice and Mystics. Now these come in shrink-wrapped packages just like this one, and they're basically just wooden sheets that were laser cut, and you punch them out, you put them together. So let me just show you how I did that, how I put them together, how everything fits inside, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so this is the package that you get. It's just a shrink-wrapped set of wooden punch boards. Basically, it's 4 of them with an instruction inside. So I'll just always cut away from yourself. Just cut a little bit of an opening here so I can pull off the shrink wrap, which is a rather thick plastic. So there we go. Okay, so first let's take a look at the instructions here. So it's a company from Russia, I believe, and is it folded? Yes, it is. So the instructions start here at the bottom and continues here on the back. So it looks rather complex, but I think that should be easily put together. So let's see, I have to start with the pieces. And the good thing is they numbered all these parts, and they included numbers on the punch board, as you can see, so that you can easily see which part is which. So first of all, I'm gonna need 1 and 2A. So this is all a higher number. I'm just gonna put this out of the way. 1 and 2A, so this is 2 and 3. Let's see what's this. Also not is 1B. So it should be here. Here's 1A, this part, and 2A's next to it. So let's see if I can just push these out easily. That works. I hope so. And it's a rather thick wood. I think that's at least 3 millimeters. And I like the color of the wood as well. And yes, if you press down carefully, you can actually just push them out. There we go. So it's been attached on these 4 spots there, and had some engravings on it as well. And I like the fact that everything has holes in this one, because it's, you know, it's supposed to be cheese. So that's pretty cool. Very thematic. I like it when, you know, an insert is not just an insert, but also has a little bit of theme in it, or at least has indicators on it to show you which parts go where. But this one, I really like the look of this one, but it is a bit difficult to punch out. So you have to be careful lest it splinters. So, but it's pretty thick wood. There's little notches in these notches as well, so that they can press together just ever so slightly, which I think is pretty handy, if that works as it is supposed to work. Oh. Yeah, actually, that does work. So this one, 5A here, then goes on the other side, and these holes haven't been completely cut through. So am I supposed to leave that on? That is a good question. This actually fits in here. Okay, then. So yeah, then this goes here. All right, a bit more confident about this now. I might just actually start adding glue at this point. So I'll apply some glue to these edges here. Just some regular wood glue and just a dab. That should suffice. And then I'll just push this in, and maybe you'll need a little bit of a tap from a small hammer. Yep, that seems to be correct. Nice, just wipe off the excess glue and just press that together. There we go. Yeah, that looks all right. And then I'll put together these, doesn't matter which way is up. Yeah, you really need a hammer for these. This is rather tight, but then once it's in, that's never gonna come out again. Okay, next one. So far, so good. I don't know if you can see that clearly, but step 3 is the other side, so that's this one. That goes here. So again, I'll apply, and I again forgot to keep this on its side. Right, that is pretty solid. So when you put these together, you can see how the die will roll. That's pretty cool. And then you can put these two together like that. That is so clever. And there you have your dice tower. Do I have a die? Yes, I do. Let me just grab one. All right, I just happen to carry a die with me. That is so cool. This is a D20, which doesn't come with the game, of course. And it's bigger than a regular die, but it works. How cool is that? A dice tower. All right, so what's next? That is part 8, which requires this bottom. That's 7A. So I'll put it on the side. So that's this. And I'll carefully push that out. Snap. Nothing printed on either side, so I'll just put it down the way the instructions look, like that, but I don't think it matters. 8A are the long sides and 9A are the shorter sides, so it does follow these punch boards in a logical fashion. You don't have to look all over these boards for your parts, which is handy, and I can imagine that can happen if you're making a design like this and you're trying to fit all these pieces onto as less punch boards as possible. you might have them scattered around and you'll have to search them. But they managed to put these together, so that's quite handy. There's something, you know, to say about doing that on purpose. Makes it easier to find. So I just snap these then. Okay, yeah, that went well. And again, there's nothing on both sides, so I can put them wherever I want. And these are slightly different from the instructions anyway, so I'll just do it like this. And then the smaller sides. And remember, when you're putting together things like this, like inserts, then just try them out first. So this is empty. Just try them out first to check if you're doing it right before you start gluing. But this looks okay. These will notch in here and here as well. So okay, cool. I'll do the sides as first. All right, just apply a little bit of glue on the sides that will sit on top here. All right, and we have a tray for components, I guess. So that looks nice. Okay, next. So, oh, this is the dice tray. This goes in here. My lord, they really put a lot of work into making a dice tray. So, does this fit? Does this fit? That is cool. 20. Cool. All right. So we have that, and it fits on this side. It's very tight though, but I can still get it out. Let's try the other side. So yeah, that's just slightly better. I'll just put it in again so that everything still fits when I need it. So, all right, that's good. Just leave that to the side. Flip over the instruction leaflet, and there we go. Next, we are putting together this tray that has a mouse on it. That's this one. So we have that. That is number 1D, and I need 2D. That's this. All right, so I'll start pushing those out. There we go. All right, that went a lot easier. So then the sides, the 6 Ds, that's this one and the other one, which is already over here. Come on, come on. There you go. This one should go here. Does that align? Yes. And this should go here. So I'll start with this one. Okay, one tray. Next up is something that also looks complex with the S, so that's this one. And then we have some parts. We have 2C and 3C, which is this and this. And again, it's following the punch boards nicely, so you don't have to search for them too much. And as with all of these, the notches where they're still connected are always on the top of the connectors. So that's good. But they are quite tight. And then these. So that should be here. There we go. Yes. And that. Okay, that's that sprue. So then we have this. This goes here. So we have these holes there. All right. This goes here. This goes here. These go here, and these go here. So this looks like the card tray for the cards marked S. Yeah, let's see. What should I do first? I think I'll do these ones first, because then when I put these on, I just have to tap down in one direction, which I think is easier. You might not even need glue to put these together because they are pretty solid and they feel pretty tight, but I still recommend using glue. I mean, it can't do any harm and it will just stay in place better, I guess. Okay, so that looks nice. Another tray done. Well, I'll just continue putting this all together. If I hit a snag somewhere, I'll talk about it. Otherwise, you'll see this all finished and I'll put the components in. So see you in a bit. So I did find one tiny little discrepancy in the plans here. Once I started putting together this tray, which is this big one over here, I don't know if that's clear, the one in the middle, it has smaller dividers on the sides and they're named 4B and 5B. And then you have 6 being the longer sides and 7 being the smaller sides. So I was looking for those, and on the board, they labeled all these dividers 4B, just 4B, so no 5B as indicated here, which means that the numbering doesn't match anymore. So 5B is now the longer sides and 6B are the shorter sides, which is 6 and 7 here. So they skipped a number. They should have named 3 of these 5B. And why? Because these are the 4 and 5Bs, and they are indeed not the same because one of them is shorter than the other. So they're not all 4B. The instructions are actually correct, but they weren't numbered on the punch boards the same as the instructions. But you'll notice, because I was putting this here, and I was pressing this in, at least I thought I was, this side, yeah, they go that way. And I put it in and I thought, well, this is sticking out way too much. And then I took another one, and that was fine. So, because that is the same depth. So I thought, hey, they must be different. And they indeed are. So be advised, if you have this insert, you might have a small discrepancy in numbers, but you'll figure it out. Okay, continuing. Well, that looks correct, and it is so sturdy. You can just feel how tough this is now. It's incredible with, you know, laser engravings for all the miniatures. Really cool. All right, so I've assembled everything here and I've put everything in the spots indicated where they're supposed to be. So I'll put everything back in a box. And pro tip, if you're using sleeves, and in this case there's expansions for the game, keep the leaflet of the sleeves you used in the box so you can always check exactly which sleeves you used, because I found out that these, which are slightly too big, I think these were Arcade Tin Men, didn't keep the paper, so I don't quite remember anymore, but they're just slightly bigger. They're thicker though, but they didn't fit into the insert, but I'll explain that in a bit. So first of all, we have this tray here with all the rats, the heroes, the monsters, the roaches, and the two miniatures from the expansion. I just tossed them in there because there is room for them. So this is the base game and the expansion Heart of Glorm. Then I had this tray here with all these tokens, the circular tokens, these hexagonal tokens, and it's, you know, burnt into the bottom so you know what goes where. Circles here, as you can see, the big and the small ones there. So that's pretty handy. It says here these are these tokens, and here you're supposed to put these tokens. So that's all nice and neat, and so you've got two left for, you know, these random tokens and your dice, and there's 5 of them, and you have this awesome dice tower. That's just really cool. So I put all those tokens in here, and that goes next to this one. I think I'll also keep the Tower Rex insert, so I know what insert it is that I actually own. So that's that. And then, like I said, this compartment was big enough for these cards for the base game and the expansion with the slightly too big sleeves. So I just left it the way they were, and you can put them in here, and it has a nice finger hole in the bottom so you can push them up. Then I went and took these cards, and I found those Mayday smaller sleeves, and they fit more tightly than these, and that fit. And this is just from the base game. These are all the cards which are slightly too big. I didn't have enough of those sleeves. I need to buy another one of those sleeves. And but these are also the cards from the base game, and that will also easily fit in here if you sleeve them, as long as they're not slightly too long. So I just put them in here just to demonstrate, but it's actually, this will, you know, just won't really fit, so I'm not gonna leave that in. But it will hold the base game, and if you don't sleeve them, it will also hold the cards from the expansion Heart of Glorm. These are thinner sleeves though, by Mayday Games, so you might, because these are the extra cards from the expansion, and if I sleeve those in the similar thinner sleeves, it might just fit if you press it together a bit. I mean, you know, once the boards are on top, that's not going anywhere. I mean, you can see already that even with these thicker sleeves, that'll fit. but you have to press them down a bit. And well, this is slightly bigger, but I guess if I put these in thinner sleeves than the current ones that I have here, then that will also just fit in there. So again, either don't sleeve them, then your base game and the expansion will fit in here easily, or if you're gonna sleeve them, get some really thin penny sleeves that just fit, and then it'll just fit in here as well. You have to press it down a bit, but the boards will keep it in place. So that's that. So I'll have to re-sleeve these with thinner and smaller sleeves. So then you have your hero cards, and they will go on here, and this will fit easily. I laminated mine with a little bit of extra margin, so but they still fit, and the width is no problem, it's just the length. It'll sit on top of the edge in my case, but if there are sleeves for these, then that will probably fit a lot more tightly and fit better. So then I took all of these cards from the core game and the expansion, and I did find some thinner, also Mayday sleeves for these, and they just fit. They're just big enough, very tight, and very thin as well. And I put all of them in this little tray, and they just fit. If I put them in and I press them down, they are flush with the top. So if you leave them on the table for a while, you know, air will suck in and it'll be a little bit taller, but that's not really a problem. As you can see, it's already coming up a bit, but that's fine. It'll at least fit in the insert in the box, and I'll just put that here like that. All right, so that goes there. So again, base game and expansion will fit if you use thin sleeves or not sleeve at all. And then finally we have that awesome dice tower here, which you can take apart like this, and then you basically put these inside the tray like that. And I think for now I'll just put all of these cards together, and I'll put them underneath here, because you can do that so I can still get it into the box. So and that will just fit in there really nicely. So that's everything. That's all there is to it. And then you just take your boards and you put them on top, so that will keep everything in place and all your tokens. So no worries there. Put that on top, and I still have some room left for the booklets. So that is the campaign book, the expansion book, and the rule book. And that will sit nice and flush inside your box. And so that was my review for the Tower Rex insert for Mice and Mystics. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.